Hello, everybody. This is the Chocolate News Podcast, and today's show is sponsored by the Ohio Lottery. I'm your co-host, John Alexander Reese.
And I'm your co-host, Morgan Angelique Owens.
And if you didn't know, the Cincinnati Herald has been around since 1955 and is the leading African-American owned newspaper in the greater Cincinnati area and northern Kentucky area. And today we have with us our digital correspondent, Andria Carter. How's it going, Andria?
Fine, John. Happy Wednesday.
Yes, happy Wednesday to you too. And we also have a special guest today, Jamar Mosley, the head coach for the Purcell Marion High School girls basketball team. How are you doing today, Coach?
I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Now, before we head into our main topic, we got some chocolate news to cover. So, Andria, what's the chocolate news of the week?
Well, the chocolate news of the week, we're going to start out with a little tragedy. The young man who caused all the chaos at the Kroger's, at the Hyde Park Plaza Kroger's last week, has been arrested today. Unfortunately, he was an employee of Kroger's who got upset, fired at someone in the Kroger parking lot. So, which is so sad, and it's not a good way for someone to handle themselves when they have an argument or a dispute with someone. Unfortunately, too many young people are choosing the easy way to handle disputes than the hard way, which is to talk it out, unfortunately. So unfortunately, you have another young man facing a life in jail for a while for something that he did. But unfortunately, that no one really got killed or anything like that. It's just a dumb action.
Yeah.
So.
But I had to say, I frequent that Hyde Park Kroger's a lot. So when I first heard that, that was definitely shocking.
It was, because I like that Hyde Park. I like that. In fact, I like that Kroger's. They have a good food selection. And, it's like I have like 3 favorite Kroger's that are within my, that are right near where I live. So I like variety, and that Kroger's offers up some very nice variety of goods that you can get. So it's unfortunate to hear them affected by, the spate of gun violence. So the next chocolate news, looks like Judge Jackson is going to be confirmed this week. I'm still waiting to hear. I think the vote may take place tomorrow. I'm not too sure, on April 7th or 8th. I know they want to do it before their spring break. The Senate takes their spring break.
Oh, yeah.
But I know. It's like every single time you turn around, they're gone for something.
I know.
But the good news is that 3 Republicans, Murkowski, Mitt Romney, I believe there was one more, Senator Lisa Murkowski, Mitt Romney, they joined Senator Susan Collins, 3 Republicans, that announced that they are going to vote for Judge Jackson. That will definitely confirm her nomination when the vote goes to the floor of the U.S. Senate. It's anticipated, one date's been given out as April 11th, but many said it's going to happen long before that to get it done. There's also some rumblings that the Republicans are vowing not to vote for anybody else while Biden is still in office, which I think dooms them, because people want bipartisanship. People want people to work together, and none of this back and forth. We're not going to do it. We're going to this mean girl stuff, or I should say mean boy stuff now. What the Republicans have done, some said it was to get on the air for Fox News. Some said it was just being mean. The fact that, they tried their hardest to make Judge Jackson look bad, backfired on them big time. It backfired so badly that it's just better to get this over and done with and move on to what's next, for the good of the nation. But at least we'll have history being made when the vote does occur. So I'm looking forward to that. Also, another very, very happy moment with Grammys, if anyone got to watch the Grammys on Sunday. One, Silk Sonic, they got 4 Grammys for their inaugural album, which is fantastic. I love it, because it's bringing back a little bit of the 70s music, which I think everybody secretly misses, because you actually can understand it, has a beat, you can dance to it. And also some men can maybe woo their ladies with it instead of what they're playing today, but that's me. But too, I'm showing my age too, by the way, when I say that. But the really surprise was John Baptiste and his album that won a number of Grammys. He has just been around for a long time, backing up folks. And the fact that he won 5 Grammys on Sunday was unbelievable. And I'm very happy for him. And even though you can still see him on John Colbert's show, his star is rising like you would not believe. And his music is unique, it's fun, it's different, jazzy, with a little bit of little New Orleans soul in it. If you ever listen to his music, and it's really, really a big thrill that the two faves that I like won.
I always liked him on Stephen Colbert's show. He was really good, in the house band, and I listened to his album that Monday, and it was very good. I enjoyed it quite much. I didn't know how much I would enjoy it, but I really did. And same goes with Silk Sonic too. It was like their music was amazing. I can see why they have that Las Vegas residency right now.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I think what's interesting, what makes this John Baptiste album so unique is that, during the height of COVID, where everyone was quarantined, not going out, some people spent time with family, some people took vacation. What he did is he wrote an album, and they locked themselves up in the theater where they filmed the Colbert Show. And since they had the theater to themselves 3 days straight, day and night, they they wrote and produced that album in that theater. And it's just interesting to see what you could do when you put your mind to something. And the rewards are unbelievable. So I'm very happy for him.
Yes, me too.
And last but not least, if anyone's been watching March Madness, the winner, the women's basketball team, it was an interesting game to watch. And Dawn Staley, who is the coach, coached her South Carolina team to a win over University of Connecticut, which UConn is like the team that normally wins March Madness. They're like the ones to beat, and they trounced them in a wonderful way and outplayed them. And I think it's fantastic, even though it was not even a close game. And normally with UConn is just leaps ahead of everybody else. And this time around, it was the reverse. It was unbelievable. So it was a fantastic job. Congratulations, South Carolina. And I'm looking forward to watching next year to see what happens.
Definitely. I'm so proud of the coach, because she's because I believe she's getting like a big contract now. Am I correct?
Yes, I think she got, I don't know if she got $1 million contract, but I know it's a high-end, almost 7-figure contract, I think, which is the first time ever for a female coach. But with the attention that the women's basketball teams are getting both on the college level and for the WNBA, it's about time that we start getting the money being made. I think it's just interesting. I think it's fantastic. And sometimes I think the women play better than the men sometimes. Because women are devious, and they're sneaky about their moves and everything else, and they're just as roughhousing as boys are. So I mean, it's what would be interesting? I'm just going to throw this out there. What would happen if there was a special March Madness game where the winner from the boys and the winners of the girls played a special playoff to see who was king of the hill?
Oh, that would be interesting. Kind of like a battle of the sexes type of thing.
Yes.
Oh, that would
Wouldn't that be
definitely
good?
be interesting. That would be so fun to watch.
I mean, it would be really interesting.
Yeah.
But that's just me down the road. I'm evil like that, but you just never know.
Yeah, that would be a fun game to watch, though, definitely.
And that is our chocolate news for the week.
All right. Well, thank you, Andria, so much. Allow me to reintroduce our special guest, Coach Jamar Mosley, who's the head coach for Purcell Marion's high school girls basketball team. So thank you, Mr. Mosley, for coming on.
Thank you for having me tonight.
Yeah, no problem. And before we start, I just want to say congratulations on the championship game. That was definitely well-deserved.
Yeah, man, I appreciate that. We had a really special group this year. Went 27-1 and win our first ever state championship. And, our girls just bought in from the beginning of the season. And, when you got a special group and they're willing to do the special things it take, you come out with special outcomes. So I'm really proud of our young ladies.
So can I ask, how long have you been coaching high school basketball?
I've been coaching high school basketball now so this is my 5th year as the head. I just completed year 5 as the head girls coach. I was an assistant for 2 years on the boys side, and I was an assistant at Hughes for 2 years, and I was an assistant at Cincinnati Christian University for a year. So in all, I've been coaching for 10 years, 9 years at the high school level.
Gotcha. So what's the difference between like coaching, men's and girls basketball? Like what are some of the key differences? Like the little things, do you have to adapt? Do you have to adjust your coaching style or anything? Or like how does that work? Or can you just jump back to forth?
Honestly, so with me never really being a head coach on the boy side, it's tough for me to really, I guess I was a junior high head coach, but what people tell me, I'm a very animated coach. So I get I'm not going to say yell, but I'm very loud throughout the course of the game. And when I first started, everybody was like, you can't coach girls like that. And the girls I have now, they say like, if you weren't doing that, I'm not sure if I would play for you. So it's not that, but the biggest difference that I've seen since I've been coaching is that boys think they can do more than they actually can. And girls don't think they can do as much as they actually can. Like that's been the biggest difference that I've seen since coaching, as far as the coaching style. And boys are a little bit more athletic and whatnot, so you can run an alley-oop play for 3 or 4 of your boys, where you probably can't do that for any of your girls if you have the average team. But that was the biggest difference. That has been the biggest difference that I've seen since I've been coaching. But as far as style and anything like that, not too much.
Now, I was reading an article, and I think it said you won your 100th game this past year.
Yeah, so I think it was our last game of the regular season. We won. I won my 100th game. I think I'm now sitting at 109 on the year. Actually, I'm the all-time winningest coach any sport at Purcell Marion now.
Wow, really?
At 109. Yep.
That's amazing. So what did it feel like to reach that milestone? I know that must have been I know you must have been really proud of that.
Honestly, I haven't really kept up with any of the individual accolades. When I took over the AD at the time, me and him had a conversation, and I said, I think within this next decade I can win a state championship or two, and that's my goal. So my true goal was to win a state championship, if not numerous of them, and we was able to accomplish that this year. But to answer your question, I was more proud of my girls and just how they've been able to handle adversity over the years.
When you started this season, did you like just know you were going to go to the state finals, or did you just have that in your head that I'm going to go all the way? And like once you were actually at the finals, is like, what was it like? Was it like nerve-wracking, or did you just stay calm and collected the whole time?
Yeah, no, honestly, to be 100% honest with you, we went to the Final Four last year. Of our top 7 players, I lost 6 of them. So I had 5 seniors and I had a junior who decided not to play. So I lost I only had 1 true returner. I had 2 other girls return who didn't play much. So this year we played, of our top 7, we played 4 freshmen, a sophomore, a junior, and 1 senior. So going in, I had no idea what to think or how far we would make it. Now, with that being said, I have the number 1 freshman in the entire country. D. Alexander is a 6'1" wing. She averaged 25 points and 14 rebounds this past season. Already has 28 Division I offers. So I knew she was good. Then I got a pair of twins who's really good. I was not sure how consistent they would be. If somebody told me that we would have been this consistent throughout the entire year, I'd been like, there's no way. The first game of the season, we started 5 14-year-old girls. I started 5 freshmen the first game of the season. And to be able to say that, to think that they would have been this consistent the entire year, I would have told anybody there's no way. Because at the end of the day, they're still 14-year-old kids playing against some teams that have 6 or 7 18-year-old girls.
Yeah.
But once we got there, once we got to the Final Four, I wasn't sure just because how big of a stage it was. But the girls just proved to me the entire season, no stage was too big for them. We played in a couple big tournaments. We played against a team that played in the state championship game. We got down by 22 points. They never gave up. We came back to win that game by 6 on the road. So, they just proved to me that no stage was too big for them. So, again, I just have to applaud them. I couldn't be more proud of them. Just like I said, the way they handled adversity, the way they was able to bounce back from any and everything that was thrown their way.
Coach, I have a curiosity question. How do they keep up their confidence? Because I know people are always worried about, the confidence of our young girls and, how do they believe themselves? What did they do to say starting out, okay, we're going to do this? And they kept continuing to believe in themselves and in the game. So do they have any models, any saying? How do they keep themselves pumped up? Or do they share anything with you like that?
Yeah, so at the beginning of the season, my goal every year, every day is just to get better. I tell our girls every single day, like my goal is just to get better. If we're getting better and we win the game, I'm happy with that. If we're getting better and we lose the game, I'm not going to say I'm happy with losing, but if you give your all and we go out there and lose, then I can't be mad at you. But they came to me back in October before our first practice, and they said, "Coach, we want to win a state championship." I said, "Well, if you want to win a state championship," and I drew it out like this is what it's going to take. It's not going to be an easy task. If you want to be successful in life, that's not going to be an easy task. So we kind of talked about that one day after weights, and I said, if you don't want to be a part of this mission, then it's probably not the program for you, because I want to win a state championship. However, that's not my goal. But to answer your question, one of the things any girl in our program can tell you what our basketball philosophy is. And that is basketball is a game. Games are meant to be fun. There's no fun in losing, so you might as well win. And, so we talk about that every single game, every single practice. And I think them just knowing that basketball is a game and like it's just supposed to be fun, like regardless of if I'm yelling at you one game or whatever, like this is supposed to be fun. Like if you miss a shot, okay, next play. If you fall to the ground and you're not hurt, okay, next play. Just get up and keep playing. So I think just them having that in the back of their mind. And with that being said, I coach some really good kids, better people. But I think they really dug into that and carried it home with them.
Well, I think what I find amazing is that you said you started your first game, you started 5 freshmen.
Yeah, our first game.
Most coaches are a little uneasy doing that, but you set the tone with that first game saying, I believe in you, so do it. And not only they did it, I think it's just amazing of what the girls have accomplished, especially with freshmen. I'm just amazed.
Yeah, no, this freshman class is, if there's a school, I'm not even going to say in Cincinnati or Ohio, if there's a school with a freshman class like I have, and I'm not even talking about just talent, just personality that's better than the freshman class that I have, I would be surprised. Like I said, we started 5 freshmen. 7 of the 14 girls in our program were freshmen, with us having Dariana Alexander, who averaged 24 points. We had another girl who was an all-state as a freshman. Her twin sister took 30 charges this year. Then we had another freshman who hit 73s in the season, which is the second most in school history. No, this freshman class that we had was pretty special. That we have. I'm not going to say had. That we have is pretty special.
That means I'm going to have to look for your schedule next year so I can go watch.
Well, that's all I really have. I want to thank you, Coach, for coming on the show. Oh, no, I'm sorry. There is one thing I want to ask. So, are you planning on doing anything different next year or anything? Switch up the style, or are you just going to keep up with this style that you got now?
Yeah, no, I think the only thing that's going to be different is instead of playing a bunch of freshmen, we're going to play a bunch of sophomores. So, everybody knows how we like to play. Like, we're a very up-tempo team. We like to get up and down the floor. We like to press you. We like to shoot a bunch of threes. And that's no mystery to anybody. So our style will be pretty much the same, depending upon who comes in. If I have a 6'5" post player that comes in, we might slow it down and throw her the ball in every single time down and make teams react off of that. But besides that, we're going to play basketball, try to play it the way we want to play and make teams adjust to how we want to play. So.
Gotcha. Well, thank you, Coach Mosley, for coming on. And once again, congratulations on the championship.
I appreciate it. I thank you for your time and having me on tonight.
No problem. Social links, if anyone wants to follow you or anything?
Yes, I am on Twitter at Coach Jamar, CoachJamar. That's me on Twitter. And then on Instagram, my name is my business name. So I have a training business, Second Half Athletes, all spelled out one word.
Oh, okay. Got that side hustle going on. Okay.
Second Half Athletes. Yep.
Okay. Awesome. All right, then. So now we will switch it over to Morgan Angelique Owens, where she will enlighten us with some beauty, lifestyle, and culture. So take it away, Morgan.
All right. Thank you, John. So I am super excited to have my girl back on the podcast, Dr. Anisa Shomo. We're going to talk all things, first of all, curvy cardio, but also a very important topic that Dr. Shomo wants to bring up with Health is Love. So welcome, Anisa.
Thank you. Thank you for having me back.
Yes, always. So first of all, let's talk about curvy cardio. You are one of the instructors for Curvy Cardio Stretch. But
yes.
We are going to be at the Closing the Health Gaps Expo at the end of this month. So Anisa, tell the audience what all your class is all about.
So for me, I started my class kind of as when the pandemic hit in 2020, when we were notified of it, I started doing yoga meditation sessions. And then I started leading what I call Love Yoga Sunday, which was kind of a mix of music and some yoga moves. And it was always just kind of like way more turned up than yoga. I partnered with you to turn it into a curvy cardio class because everybody knows it. In curvy cardio, we turn up a lot. So it's kind of like a mix of some of that turn up energy and then some of the lower energy with yoga, because it's really important to stretch. It's really important to breathe. It really helps relax your body. And for me, one of the reasons why I try to stretch and do yoga is because I'm a runner, and there was a time when I had a hard time running because I wasn't stretching enough. So I just know that it's really important to keep your body moving to make sure that you add some stretch in there.
Yes, it's so important. And I think you give a really great balance to what I do with, the cardio class. So, come turn up with me, and then you'll definitely meet Anisa's stretching afterwards.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So speaking about curvy cardio, I know there's a special thing you wanted to talk about this month with Health is Love. So why don't you go ahead and share that with the audience?
Yes. So the biggest thing for me as a physician, one of the things I kind of have to do with my patients to work on their health is motivate them to build healthy habits. And one of the biggest things for me is, in order for me to motivate my patients, I have to figure out how to motivate myself and, just know what my hangups are so I can know how I troubleshoot that so that I can share that with my patients and help them build their health. And so one of the biggest things that happened when the pandemic hit in 2020 and everything was shut down, a lot of people were at home a lot and they were drinking a lot. And so a lot of my patients were coming to me asking for help because people were like, I'm drinking whole bottles of wine. And so I just want people to know that if you do, April is Alcohol Awareness Month. So I want people to know that if you do have issues with drinking more, like binge drinking, or just drinking more than usual, or if you've struggled with it your whole life, I do want you to know that you can come to your doctor and talk about it. There are definitely alcohol treatment centers, and any kind of addiction. If you're dealing with any addiction problems, definitely reach out to your doctor because we kind of talked about it. I kind of broached the subject last podcast, but I wanted to follow up as a doctor to say, for me, what helps me is exercise, but that may not be what, may not be the level that a lot of people are. A lot of people struggle and they're like, I really need help. And so there is a medication that we prescribe for people who find themselves binge drinking a lot or craving alcohol a lot. There's a medicine called naltrexone. And so I use that quite a bit kind of like the summer of 2020 when people were like, yeah, I'm drinking way too much. I need to cut back. So it's just important to check in with yourself to figure out, are you doing that constructive coping or are you doing destructive coping? And so for me, Curvy Cardio was really a great way to constructively cope during the pandemic. It really helped me build my body up and my endurance. And, I've always just so impressed by what my body can do as far as being able to jump. Now, I turn up all the way in Curvy Cardio. So doing jump squats and all types of stuff. So I just really love challenging myself. And I really had a great time, in Curvy Cardio, having that as an outlet.
Yes. And I think, especially also, with the pandemic and, things just not still being certain and, a lot of things, I think people have to get back into that routine of, like you said, people are day drinking and people are going back to the office now. So it's kind of like you need to retrain, not, usual life behavior, which, you can't just drink all day. You actually have to function as an adult. And, what are some other healthy outlets that people can do?
Yeah, so meditation is actually a really great one. Meditation is a great way. So for me, there's all types of ways to meditate. And that's kind of actually what really helped me right before the pandemic hit. In 2019, I had a really hard year. And at the end of 2019, I ended up doing a mind and body class that really taught me a lot about meditation. And there's all types of ways to meditate. And so having all of those kind of coping skills in my toolbox as this pandemic hit was really helpful for me to kind of avoid that destructive coping, because I was able to constructively cope the whole time during the pandemic. I wrote a book, so for me, writing has been a big thing. So writing, turning my energy into my patients, working basically, and just hanging out with my husband around the fire. And most of the time I don't really drink around the fire. Like I used to drink around the fire a lot, but now I mostly just drink tea, like have an evening beverage instead of drinking alcohol. So there's just other things you can do if you want to relax. A lot of people got pets during the pandemic. So a lot of people got cats and dogs. So that's another big way that people cope, is just investing time and energy into something outside of themselves. Like, if people have children, a lot of people with children do that as well. But sometimes people with children say, I need some wine. So it's just hard. You have to balance it because, just trying to see if you can get outside more with your children if they're stressing you out, or see if you can ask for help and take a break, because the biggest thing is just asking for help. Yeah. Like at the end of 2019, when I felt like I needed some help, I was like, I got to do something. And so I went to that class because I was actually planning to go to therapy. And I was like, well, let me try this and see what this is about. And it actually was really therapeutic because it was a group of healthcare professionals, and it was like group therapy, because being a healthcare professional is hard. And so it was kind of like an intervention for all of us. Like, what are we, where we are, what is making us unhappy about healthcare? How can we cope with that? And how can we build each other up? So it was actually a really amazing experience. So I encourage everybody to tap into your tribe and really have those, time with your girlfriends or with your guy friends. Like my husband has poker nights, and I know Morgan, you and I, we may go on a shopping trip. So just having like some travel, or, some people are strapped for money, but even just going for a walk in the park with your friends, just really taking some time to build those therapeutic relationships is important. And that's honestly why I podcast too. Like I mostly interview my friends and have therapeutic conversations with my friends, like we always have. And so I just record those so that people can have an example of, having therapeutic friendships.
No, I love that. So these were some awesome tips. Can you please tell people how they can find you for Health is Love and find you online, all that good stuff?
Yes. So I have a brand new website. My website is www.healthislove.co. That's healthislove.co. And so on Instagram, it's the same thing. It's @healthislove.co. And I'm on TikTok as well. And I'm on Facebook as well.
Thank you so much. John, back over to you.
Thanks, Morgan. Well, everyone, that's it for today's show. And once again, thanks to the Ohio Lottery for sponsoring today's show. And I also want to thank Andria for coming on and discussing all of that good chocolate news.
It's been my pleasure, John.
And remember, folks, you can find out more information about today's topics and past podcast episodes at www.thecincinnatiherald.com, the Sesh newsletter, or on our social media. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And make sure to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite podcast app. Our podcast is on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, the Facebook mobile app, YouTube, and Google Podcasts. I'm John Alexander Reese, and have a good day.